Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. So I didn't get any storm. If anybody actually had rain and storm, write it in the chat. I was really curious. It just passed right over us. So I am Robin Schwartz. I am the Program and Grant Director of the Community Arts Partnership of Tompkins County. And the Spring Rights Literary Festival is one of our programs, and this is the Spring Rights Literary Festival workshop. And we have a few more workshops. I'm sure you saw them because you had to go to our website to sign up. And before we start, I just want to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors made it possible for us to have 40 free events. There were live events, there are these Zoom events, and pay the artists. So yay to our sponsors. They are Ithaca College, CFCU Community Credit Union. Oh, these are the sponsors for just the Spring Rights Literary Festival. M&T Bank, the Marriott in Ithaca Downtown, the Odyssey Bookstore in Wegmans. Our media sponsors are Cinemapolis, The Root, WITH Radio, and WSKG Radio. And we also get money from Poets and Writers, which if you're not familiar with, that's an organization you should check out. It's pw.org. They have a lot of resources for writers, and the Tompkins County Tourism Program, and a grant called the Fair Game Grant. And that's it for me. And I am now, I wanted to say something about keep yourself on mute until later when we do some sharing. And I am recording this. However, when we get to the sharing part, I will turn off the recording. So now I am going to turn the mic over to Angela Somma.
Thank you, Robin. It's been lovely working with you and orchestrating all of this, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you facilitating all of this. Robin is going to be handling the chat, so if you have any questions or anything, you can put stuff in there, and she will do her best to get that to me. You can also use the chat to share your work as we go, if that's something you're comfortable with. It's just we won't be able to actually read anything aloud or share conversationally until the very end. I will be sharing my screen. So let's make sure that that works for everybody right now. Ooh, look at my face. So, sure. It's too much in my way. Slideshow. Everybody see?
Yes.
Okay, so welcome everyone. This is Live Your YA Fantasy, an embodied writing speculative fiction workshop with me, Angie Somma, writer of Realms. That is my Instagram handle, and you can find me and contact me best on there. I would like to tell you a little bit about me before we start. I am a professional creative, author, educator, and poet since around 2000. I identify as queer, disabled. I have a traumatic brain injury. I am a non-binary femme. I am neurodivergent, and I do my best to be a conscious storyteller. I try to prioritize inclusivity, diversity, activism, and creating safe spaces. So I'm going to count on all of our good hearts here and trust that we are all going to share this safe space together and really hold space for each other. It's so important when we do creative writing. And then for more from me, I have a work in progress, a YA fantasy novel in the works. I have some blogs up. I have a writer's toolkit on my website. So you can go ahead and take a picture of that if you want to come back to it. I also do some neurodivergent life coaching. And you can always get this information at the end as well. Okay. So what to expect, right? Here's what we're doing today. We're doing about 2 hours. It can be a little less, it can be a little more, depending on how long you would like to stay. Feel free to dip out anytime. You're not mandated to be here. I hope you stay for the whole thing. I think we have a lot of treats in store. Sorry, I was just letting somebody else in. And that focus is going to be on speculative fiction and fantasy, sci-fi, or fan fiction. So if you're not great at world building or creating your own inventions, I would encourage you to draw on your favorite fictions. Some of our guiding principles are going to be meditation and breath work. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with that, but I will guide you, no worries. We're going to do some inner child and younger self healings, and obviously creative exploration. We kind of covered this, but for people who only just joined, we're going to use the chat to have independent conversations. There isn't a questions box, but you can put questions in. Robin assured me that she will be on top of that. And at the end, we'll share our works. So if you want to stick around, I encourage you to do so. Sorry, I just flipped that really fast. So we're encouraging you to really embark on a limitless creativity. We're going to do a sensory immersion and some character alchemy. Basically, we're going to use our 5 senses to engage our creative mind, and we're going to draw up some characters, but where we find our inspiration is going to be our younger selves. So this mantra, especially if you get stuck, I want you to remind yourself, maybe take a picture of it so you can come back to it. Live your young adult fantasy. Be who you needed when you were younger. Your voice matters now more than ever. It is so important for all of us to tell these stories. And we all have an inner child that we can access, and they have all of the untapped potential. And we really need that in our writing. So a brief overview, the sensory detail exercise, we're going to awaken a sense of wonder by doing a deep dive into the senses as experience. We're going to allow ourselves to experience the senses. We're not going to edit. We're going to have our senses guide our prose, and then we're going to watch our stories come to life. For our characters, it's important. We're going to do a meditation where we're going to step into character shoes. Some of the things you may want to keep in mind while we're doing this is to feel crunchy autumn leaves, taste salt on ocean breezes, hear echoes of the forgotten, and forge solid characters. They're not just ink on paper, they're souls waiting to be heard. So we're going to begin. Let's all get comfortable. I want you to find a comfortable position, a comfortable, quiet place. You can lay back, you can sit up straight, you can close your eyes, you can open them, whatever feels safe for you. We're going to take a couple of deep breaths to start. And if you can, we can breathe in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. And your next breath, feel your body, your feet on the floor, or your legs against the back of your chair or your bed. You're rooted, sitting comfortably. We're going to do a body scan. Start at your feet. Feel your toes. Move up through your ankles. Allow your breathing to travel up your calves, into your knees, into your thighs. Relax those hips. Relax your root. Relax. Travel up. Feel your stomach as you breathe in and out. Fill up your lower lungs. Travel upwards to your chest. Relax those shoulders. Bring them down from your ears. Unclench your jaw. When you're ready, on your next inhale, imagine yourself surrounded by a warm, glowing light. This light is filled with love and compassion. It's a warm golden glow. As you breathe in this love. When you breathe out this love, you breathe in this compassion. You breathe out this compassion. This light of love is creating your aura, your safe space where you're going to welcome your younger self. Know that you are safe, you are loved, you are valued, you are creative, and you are essential. And what you have to say is important. On your next inhale, breathe in, I have arrived. Breathe out, I am home. I have arrived. I am home. I have arrived. I am home. On your next breath, your inner child will be standing in front of you. You can imagine your younger self. You can think of a specific picture, maybe your favorite picture of you when you're younger. Anything you really want to picture that draws you to your younger self. And they're here now, and they're in front of you, and they're so happy, and they're full of joy, and they've been waiting to share their stories with you. Take a moment to really see and feel their presence. Look at their hair, their eyes, their skin. What are they wearing? What does their laugh sound like? And you can breathe in. My younger self has arrived. And breathe out. My younger self is home. Or my inner child has arrived. My inner child is home. You're going to reach out to your inner child and you're going to embrace them in that hug and that warmth and that light. And you can feel that golden aura surrounding you both into the most warm and comforting hug. Let it fill you with a sense of happiness and contentment, and know that you are both safe and together now. Maybe you can even feel them hugging you, or you can feel their fingers on your arm, or maybe you're holding their hand. Maybe you're just sitting side by side and you can hear or see their feet dangling and hitting the back of the seat. When you're ready, you can begin to write. Different things that you need to give to your inner child so that they feel safe enough to tell you their story. I have some examples for you. You can bring compassion to your inner child. You can bring love to your inner child. You can bring joy to your inner child. You can bring equanimity to your younger child. I'm sorry, to your younger self. You can also bring justice to your younger self and inner child. You can bring power to your inner child. What do you need to breathe into your younger self and embody in your present self? So you can write, I breathe health into my inner child. I bring wellness. I breathe
Hey,
well.
Johnny, please bring me my cord.
Just make sure that we're muted. You can bring fairness to your inner child. You can bring kindness to your inner child. Maybe some forgiveness to your inner child. Maybe you need to bring some celebration to your inner child. You don't have to come up with many. Maybe watch their face as you try each one and see which resonates with that younger self. What did you need? And you can now give it to yourself, which is very powerful. We're going to have about another minute to go back and breathe through each of the things that you just wrote and breathe your qualities, breathe what you need to into yourself and your inner child. If you haven't already, you might want to start looking back at your list. Start breathing those individual qualities into your younger self. And just take some time to breathe. Because now you've given all of those things to your inner child. And you're enveloped in a warm, safe space. And both of you are happy and full of celebration and joy. And you're so ready to hear everything that they have to tell you, everything you've missed in all the time that you've been growing up. And just sit together in that joy, seeing their little faces light up when they look at you, knowing that you grew up to be everything that they ever wanted to be. And they're so proud of you. And you're proud of them And together, you're both seen. And you're ready? You can ask your inner child or your younger self, is there anything that they want to tell you or show you about their inner fantasy world? Listen with an open heart and mind and allow them to express their needs, desires, emotions, what they know, where they've been, and which character maybe they imagine spending some time with. So maybe your younger self was really obsessed with a certain show or a book or a movie or a character. Maybe your younger self has been engaging with that world this entire time. And maybe there are moments that you can think of in your own life where maybe you've encountered something that reminds you of those moments or of that thing you loved or of what you loved about that thing. Maybe you've overcome something and your inner Patronus has come out. Maybe you've been able to time travel using your memories and heal some inner wounds. Maybe you've brought joy to another and you've understood that that's a joy that you give yourself as well. The most important thing is to not edit. Write down whatever comes out. Try to be as fanciful as possible. Remember that your inner child had an expansive imagination. They could probably imagine that they could fly, walk through walls. I always wanted to do that thing in Looney Tunes where they walk off the edge of the building and just keep walking on the air. You know, where are you and your inner child when you're giving them joy? What could you be doing? Maybe you're in a playground. Maybe you're in your old bedroom. Maybe you're on the beach. Maybe you're someplace you've never been before. Maybe it's someplace only your younger self could have imagined. You may notice some transformative feelings coming up. At times you may cry. You may feel joy and also despair. At any time you feel overwhelmed or stuck, go back to your breathwork mantras. Go back to those things that you breathed into yourself and your inner child moments ago. You are safe, you are loved, and you are courageous enough to create this space to be heard. Write down everything. Don't edit yourself. At about 2 more minutes. In the last minute or so, you may want to take a moment to breathe and look back at anything that you've written and maybe see if there are any really strong ideas or emotions or anything that really jumps out that you can use going forward, something that sticks. If you don't think that there's anything, I guarantee you, you're wrong. There's always something. You are brilliant. You are smarter than you think you are. You are more creative than you think you are, unless you're me and think you're a creative genius. I'm kidding. You've got good work in this meditation. Find what speaks to you. Find what's important. Find what's fun. Find the healing. Find the inspiration. You've done this exercise and this was hard work. We can go back into a meditative state. Let's get comfortable in our seats again. I know sometimes when I'm writing, I tend to lean forward and tense up, but we're gonna stay relaxed. Our inner child's here. We're holding their hand. We're a relaxed, joyful, safe space. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Relax those shoulders and clench your jaw. Shake it out. Relax that root chakra. Relax your hips, flex your feet. So we're with our inner child. And we're going to conjure up a blank screen in front of us. It can be a canvas, it can be a computer screen, it can be a blank wall, it can be a cloud. Anything blank. And what's going to happen is we're going to draw up a fantastic setting. Maybe you already had a setting that your inner child told you in the last exercise. If not, that's okay. I have some examples for you on the next slide. But maybe these prompts in between will help you. So we're going to breathe. And while we breathe, our 4 in, hold, 4 out, we're going to let surroundings materialize. What do you feel around you? Can you feel a crisp breeze? Do you feel a rushing wind? Does the air hold moisture? Is it drier than a desert? Do you not know what it feels like? Maybe it feels unfamiliar. Maybe it feels new. Maybe there's some anticipation in the air. You can open your eyes and start to conjure up and let the setting materialize. What are you seeing? Let those shadows morph and become solid. Do you see trees? Do you see waves? Do you see walls? Do you see bars? Do you see grass or flowers? What do you see? And how does what you see inform what you're feeling? Maybe you see a shadowy figure in the distance, and that gets your heart racing, and you can feel your inner child squeeze your hand. Do any of the scents linger on the air? Can you taste anything as you inhale through your mouth in this place? Maybe you're in a not great place. Maybe it's someplace that smells like rotting fish. Maybe you've got to get your inner child to try calamari for the first time. Maybe your inner child is adventurous. Maybe they get excited at new things. Maybe they're a little rambunctious and start running through all the carts. What can you hear? Is anyone laughing? Is anyone crying? Is there a crackling fire? Crashing waves? Rain? Silence. Silence so thick you can taste it. Maybe you hear bells, the tinkling of fairy bells. Do you follow? Is there a fairy circle nearby? Do you taste the berries on the air as they lure you in? Is today the day you and your inner child make that deal with a cryptid? You're stuck. Here are some settings for you. I'll pause on each one for about 5 seconds. And I'll go back and do this one more time. Remember, you don't want to edit and you don't want to stop yourself. Whatever you see, whatever hits home to you, grab that image and then start your own. This could very easily be a setting in Dune or a setting in Game of Thrones, minus the helicopter. You don't necessarily have to start from scratch if that's not what your inner child's telling you. They're telling you, oh, I know this place, it's Hogwarts. Start there. Do your best to stay in this world and give a sense of the atmosphere created here. Try to use your 5 senses, or even just one. Maybe you're a very visual person. Maybe you're big on smell. Maybe you're sensitive to smells. Maybe you can feel temperature more than other people. Maybe your inner child likes to lick things. You get stuck, try to listen to that inner child. Because I'm sure they can come up with all kinds of new creatures and weather. Maybe it's raining gumdrops and lollipops and chocolate ice cream. Those things pose unique problems in world building. Maybe there's time travel happening. What are the senses that you can involve in your time travel? I guarantee if your inner child wants to go see some dinosaurs, you're going to hear and smell some things. Maybe over the next few minutes, some characters' voices start to be right within earshot. You're not quite sure what they're saying. You can almost make it out. Maybe it's a solitary voice. Maybe it's a whisper. What's your inner child say about all of this? Be a nice place for some dialogue. Got a couple more minutes. In the last minute and a half, you may want to go back and look over some of the things you've written, some of those setting descriptions, any fun dialogue or strong images, anything that leaves you feeling solid or grounded in a place. And pull those things out. Underline them with a star. These are things that you can go back to when you're building a larger work. Finish up your ideas. Hope we're really proud of ourselves. We're more than halfway through and we're doing some really, really deep work and fun work, I hope. Let's get loose again, just in case we clenched up. Loosen your hips, lower your shoulders, and clench your jaw. Deep breaths. In, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Again. When you're relaxed and your breathing is focused, draw up that blank screen or your setting if you feel grounded in it. And we're going to allow a character to show up. Okay. Now, this character could be someone from a work you know and love. It could be a character you invented in childhood. It could be a creature you've always wanted to exist. It could be a person you've always wanted to exist, right? So they can be an animal, they can be a human, a cryptid, a cyborg, if you enjoy sci-fi and you want to go that route. They could be something else. They can be a combination. I've never seen a Bigfoot cyborg before. Maybe that has been invented. I don't know. I'm not well versed. Or like I said, a beloved character from another work. And like we did before, allow them to kind of come out of the shadows, come into earshot. They were just standing right off screen. And now you're inviting them in with your inner child. Your inner child is so happy, thrilled, excited to see this character. Even if they're a little afraid or intimidated, sometimes adventure gives you those butterflies. I also have some images to help you. What you want to do is, you want to consider what physical attributes does this character possess? How do they take up space? That can be physically, or that can be emotionally, that could be energetically. Maybe they're a tiny person, but they have this large presence. Maybe they're a very large person who kind of shrinks themselves. You'll be able to see that in their movements. Do they stand up straight? Do they hunch over? Are they running? Are they hunting? Are they sleeping? Are they talking to you or your inner child? And how do they sound? Are they laughing? Does their laugh tinkle like bells? Does their laugh sound like a low, throaty growl? that would be frightening, but in this situation, we know that that character has a great heart. What is the story that this character has to tell you, and especially your younger self? What's the message that this character brings with them? And how does that manifest in the way that they sound, look, feel, move? Write down everything. You're stuck. Is the character tall, short, medium height? What's their build? Are they human, animal, fae, some combination? How are they standing? How many legs do they have? Do they use legs? What informs you of their age? Okay, that can be as simple as a long gray beard that trails behind them. It could be a teething mouth that drools and is constantly chewing on something. It could be a feathery down that hasn't become an adult waterproof feather plumage yet. Or it could be the look in their eyes, the set of their shoulders. Maybe you can see things they've been through or things that they'll never go through. Maybe there's a spring in their step. Do they have skin, fur, scales, feathers, something else? Are they clothed? If so, how? If not, why? Got some characters on the next slide. And you can combine any of these. You can pull from them. Maybe they remind you of something else. There is no way to be wrong. Just right. You know, fun writer joke. And we're going to sit with these characters for a while, so you have plenty of time. As your characters materialize and they're in your setting, maybe you move. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're done in that first setting and are moving on to another one. How does this character allow your story to move forward? How can your world building be informed by these characters? Right? If you have an aquatic character in a desert setting, that's going to give you some plot points. That's going to give you some conflict. If you have an aquatic creature in an aquatic setting, I'm sure that'll give you some conflict as well. It's wherever you want to take this. Make sure that you're always remembering that your inner child is there with you and that they're kind of there to remind you that you come from a place of joy and love, even if you're navigating some darker themes. Really immerse yourself in the state here. And there's about 5 minutes left, a little longer this time. I will draw your attention to the time limit and then you can go back and read. But right now, we're just generating. Write as much as possible, as silly as possible, as misspelled as possible. Your only job is to listen, create, and write. Okay, there's about 5 minutes left. In about 5 minutes, I'll ask you to read over what you've written and see what stands out, see what you've created. Got about 1 more minute. Try to see if you can come to a close on the scene you're building or the conversation that you're having or the images that are flowing. Where do they end up? Okay. Now for the next 15 minutes, we're going to go back, or you're going to go back and look through everything that you've written in this workshop. Go back to your mantras, go back to your breathing exercise, go back to your setting, be with your characters, and see if there are any stories being built, if there are any themes you're exploring, or if you've thought of something right now completely new and want to start over. You've got 15 minutes to finish things up with your inner child, to ask them if there's anything else that they want you to see or hear. Maybe ask them if they'll return if you found this helpful. Maybe you want to come up with an outline or a couple of character sketches. This next time is completely yours to go back and edit kindly, not necessarily remove anything, but find your brilliance. Find the moments where your inner child really spoke to you. Find the images that have weight. Find whatever pulled at your emotions. And hopefully you can leave here with a really nice foundation that you can go back to and write from. Also, if there's a slide that, oh, sorry, if there's a slide that anyone needs me to go back to, let me know. About 5 more minutes. Just to quickly draw your attention to the chat, I placed my contact info there, just in case you can't scroll up. I've got my website, I've got my socials, and I've got my email. And if you feel comfortable, you can certainly leave your email or your socials, and maybe some of your fellow writers can be in touch if you're comfortable. You can always send me your stuff through email and through Instagram, and we can set up some one-to-ones. I do that as well. So we're just in our last minutes here. If we want to end by 8, that's certainly an option. If people have to go, we'll be spending our last half hour sharing and discussing, if anyone would like to do that. And on my next slide, I have some other resources for you. So there is an article that I found helpful on fan fiction. And there's also the fantasy world building questions. If you haven't seen those, I printed them, paid for them, but they're free online. But it is a gigantic resource of every question that you need to build a very comprehensive world. And it's nicely organized. You don't have to answer every single one. You can just do what helps you. You can see there's categories, social organization, government, politics, etc. I have no affiliation with this. I just have used it for years and think that it's a really valuable resource. More minutes. Finish up your thought. I don't know about you, but when I have to get my last thought down in that last minute, I spell everything wrong. Okay, so for those of you that don't want to share, our workshop is at an end. Please email me with your thoughts about this workshop and some feedback. I am always very happy to work with people one-on-one. I offer other workshops, other writing workshops, which can all be found